right, Joellen, we're here on the grounds of the University of Memphis, your playground.
Yes.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the winter damage that you've been seeing throughout the landscape here.
Yeah, well, like this is an azalea here, and you see azaleas are normally evergreen.
Right.
They're zones 5 through 9, so they survive in this area. We're in zone 7B.
Okay.
But we got some single-digit temperatures for an extended period of time. In fact, it was like under 32 degrees for over 24 to 36 hours. So that was very stressful for our plants that are normally more accustomed to having 100-degree temperatures.
Yeah, right.
So, but if you look at this plant and you find the bark and peel it back, you'll see that it's green.
All right.
So that means that it is alive, and you can test all of your plants that have normally are evergreen, because we've had a lot of problem with our broadleaf evergreen plants not taking those single-digit temperatures very well.
Yeah.
The azaleas aren't the only ones that are affected, but if you notice, these have buds on them, so they're going to get ready to bloom because they can take colder temperatures.
Okay. And before you talk about those other plants, anything we should be doing now, with our azaleas or some of the other plants that you're going to be talking about?
I would let Mother Nature take its course and see what happens. There might be some dead spots because of prevailing winds that it was harder on some plants in some areas than others. And I would wait until about May, end of April, May, just to see what all comes out of this.
Okay.
And now if you scratch something and it's not alive, and it's an azalea, and there might be other stress factors that have occurred before, because we had a drought this last summer in this area. And so, and then maybe the plant is not in the right place, maybe it's getting too much sun for it. So it might be other factors that the cold just finally was the last straw for that particular plant.
That's good, that's good. I would agree with that. All right, so let's talk about those other plants, right?
Other plants. We've got Nandinas. Now they're zones 6 through 9, and they are all defoliated. Yeah. But they're still alive. I mean, the stems bend and everything. So I mean,
so long as it's still pliable.
Yeah, and it'll take the cold, but the leaves did drop off. But they'll come back.
Not a problem. All right.
The Helleri Holly, it's zones 5 through 8, so it can take the cold, but it also defoliated. But it may come back too, so because it can take the colder temperatures. Then you've got Schip laurels. They also did not like the temperatures, but they are zones 5 through 8, so they should be able to come back. Okay.
And the thing about some of those, the leaves actually remained attached.
A lot of these, some of the leaves remained attached, but they can take colder temperatures. Then there's the Otto Luyken laurels. They are also zones 6 through 8. They seem to not do well, but their leaves are still on there. They may come back.
Okay, they may come back.
Then you've got abelias. Those are zones 6 through 9. They all defoliated. They are normally evergreen. The plum yews are zones 6 through 9, and they were definitely hurt by the cold, but they did retain some more green than some of the other plants.
Okay. Okay. So hope there. There's hope.
Hope there, yeah. Then we've got a Chamaecyparis, which is the fall cypress. They're zones 5 through 8, but they did not like the cold temperatures, so they all browned up.
Okay.
Indian hawthorn, now there is a problem. Those are zones 7 through 10. So see, we are on the very edge of the limit. So that cold 5, 6 zone temperature that we had may have finished them off or cut them back to the ground.
Okay.
Then there's Japanese Cryptomeria. They're zones 5 through 8, and they're beautiful trees, but some of them have turned all brown, but mine at my house are all green.
How about that? Okay.
So I don't know why some people have brown Japanese Cryptomeria and some people have green ones.
It's interesting.
I don't know.
Microclimates maybe? I don't know.
Could be.
Yeah. Interesting.
But I live even further north from here and have prevailing winds are out in the middle of the field, so I don't know.
That's interesting. Okay.
I don't know why that's like that. Of course, then there's the Laurel pedalum, again, zones 7 through 9. They couldn't take the temperatures, and they might actually be gone also.
Sure.
And then Carissa Hollies lost a lot of their evergreen leaves. Some of them did, some of them didn't. It's very sporadic of where they lost all of their leaves, but they're still green, so they most likely will come back too.
That's good.
But they are zones considered 7 through 9, so we're at the upper limit of that one too.
Right.
But look at the dwarf vomitoria holly.
Okay.
They're still green. All of them. They didn't lose any leaves. But that's a native holly. So I'm wondering if native seem to do better than some of the others.
Okay, so they seem to adapt a little bit.
They seem to have done a little bit better than some of these other broadleaf evergreens.
Okay.
And of course, Mother Nature's coming out. There's some star magnolias are starting to bloom.
Yeah.
The Okami cherry is starting to bloom.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And look at the witch hazels. They got, you can tell they got hurt by the cold, because you can't really tell because the leaves actually died and stayed on the tree, which they normally would fall off.
Okay.
And then the blooms would show better on the branches, but you know, they are blooming, so it is alive, and they're going to start the new.
Yeah, as long as they're blooming, okay.
Yeah.
It should be okay, we hope.
Should be okay.
Should be okay. Okay.
That's, of course, and then there's the Anthony water spirea.
Yeah, okay.
Look, it's starting to leaf out.
New foliage.
So new spring is coming.
It's coming.
And
hopefully, hopefully.
So I think we'll see a lot of our plants that did brown out in the cold come back. For those that didn't, then we might have to replace them. And if it's limit of zone 7 for those plants, I might consider a plant that has a zone 6 or 5 as a limit.
Okay. So Joellen, we're in zone 7B here in Memphis, Tennessee. Have a lot of winter damage. This damage probably can happen anywhere.
Yes.
So what are some of the general care rules that we need to know about these plants?
First, don't panic.
Don't panic. Okay.
Just because it's gotten brown when it normally isn't is not a sign, a bad sign. Know your plant material, no matter where you are. Give it some time to recover. In the spring, make sure the temperatures are warm enough that the plant starts to recover, and then you can see, don't prune it right away.
Yeah.
Make sure you see what's coming out and what's alive, and then you can selectively prune out what's not coming back.
Okay.
And if it's too much damage, then you decide to take it out and you can replace it then.
Okay.
But yeah, and just watch your zones when you are replacing the plants. If your zone is zone 5, and you seem to have zone 4 or 3 weather, you need to get a plant that might be a little bit hardier, a little further north than you.
Got it. So general rule again, no need to prune.
No need to
no
prune.
need to fertilize. Be patient.
Be patient.
Spring is coming at some point.
Yes.
All right, so we just need to be patient with that.
Yes.
All right, thank you much. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. To find out more information on this topic, just click on the familyplotgarden.com link in the description.